I have some breaking news about District Attorney Fani Willis and her office that you are not going to want to miss. President Biden and Donald Trump will both visit the Texas border crisis later this week. Donald Trump says he will take action on the border on day one as president, while Joe Biden says he still needs Congress to tell him what authority he has as president to protect the country. Plus, an assassin was paid to take out Tucker Carlson while in Russia, has now been arrested, and Donald Trump Jr. had to emergency evacuate his house after a serious death threat. I want to thank you guys so much for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps me out, so thank you so much. By the way, we're about to pass 1.5 million subscribers tonight. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for being a part of my YouTube family. All right, now please, please, please share this video on Twitter and over on Facebook. I have some bombshell information. This is going to sound like a spy novel, but everything's been vetted by the highest media authorities. Former President Donald Trump has now officially filed a notice to appeal in regards to his civil fraud judgment in the state of New York. Due to the sheer size of the payment required of him, nearly $500 million, it does not appear that he will have to front the full payment in order to appeal like previously thought. However, Donald Trump is currently racking up $112,000 a day in interest debt, which will slowly bankrupt him if he doesn't find a solution. Now, Letitia James originally set this at $87,000, but she thought, what the heck? We have a bunch of illegal immigrants that we need to give free stuff to. Let's go ahead and up that to $112,000. Now, either way, it's likely that Donald Trump will be able to shield his assets from being seized by posting bond with the court. But even Letitia James has threatened to take away Trump's businesses and close them down, which would cause thousands of people to lose their jobs. Now, after months of anticipation, Donald Trump has beaten Nikki Haley in her home state of South Carolina. Ultimately, Donald Trump secured a decisive victory over Nikki Haley by approximately 20 points, effectively sealing her fate. After the loss, Nikki Haley reportedly celebrated for capturing nearly 40% of the vote and vowed to continue the race against Donald Trump. She stated, "I said earlier this week that no matter what happens in South Carolina, I would continue to run for president. I am a woman of my word." Well, you're not being very smart about it. Now, despite her relentless self-belief, losing in your home state can't be ignored by investors. According to Politico, the billionaire-backed group Americans for Prosperity has decided to withdraw all of their funding for Nikki Haley's campaign. The group's CEO, Emily Seidel, stated, "Haley has made it clear that she will continue to fight, and we wholeheartedly support her in this effort. But given the challenges in the primary states ahead, we don't believe any outside group can make a material difference to widen her path to victory." So I guess they wholeheartedly support her, but they don't whole wallet support her. By the way, WK Prospecting, thank you guys so much for that super chat. All right, the billionaire Koch brothers, the most famous Republican billionaires, they have also announced, "We are pulling every dime from Nikki Haley. There is no way she can become president of the United States." So it's not looking good for her. And I guess she's just going to continue to run on Democrat money. Did you guys know that? Did you know that most of her funding is coming from anti-Trump people and Democrat money? That's insane. I've never heard of that in my whole life. Hey, thanks, Chad Hudson. You're amazing. I appreciate that super chat. All right, now, due to this truth, Ronna McDaniel has announced that she will resign as chairman of the Republican National Committee. She stated, "I have decided to step aside as our spring training on March 8th in Houston, Texas, to allow our nominee to select a chair of their choosing. The RNC has historically undergone change once we have a nominee, and it has always been my intention to honor that tradition. Now, the main reason why McDaniel seems to be stepping down is due to criticism from not generating enough funds and losing. She lost in 2018, 2020, and 2022. She tried to blame Donald Trump, but the reality is they put no money behind good candidates. And in fact, Mitch McConnell and others were putting money behind people they knew would lose. I don't know why these ding dongs do this, but Republicans have to start winning. And so they've got to get rid of Ronna McDaniel's Romney so that they can start winning again. Now, the person that's been nominated is Michael Whatley and Trump's daughter-in-law, Laura Trump, as the co-chair. All right, now I have some big breaking news in the Fani Willis, Georgia situation. In the Fani Willis versus Donald Trump case down in Georgia, significant developments have emerged as of today, with sources telling Breitbart News that the Biden administration has purportedly been meddling in the 2024 presidential election because they know Biden can't beat Donald Trump. But how did they do this? These sources claim that the Biden White House has positioned a secret operative within the Fulton County Fani Willis group. He goes by the name of Jeff DeSantis, not DeSantis, and he was a deputy district attorney himself, and he is a Donald Trump hating maniac. Now, listen to this. It's important to note that Jeff DeSantis should not be confused with Ron DeSantis. There's no connection. Jeff DeSantis is a well-known Democrat political figure. He has a background in various high-profile positions. Now, according to sources who spoke with Breitbart, he is the one pulling all the strings. He was the one that walled off Fani Willis. He was in every important meeting. He is the brainchild behind this. This is the connection to the White House, okay? So these whistleblowers are saying, listen, we're getting nowhere going to members of Congress. So what did they do? They went to the press. So they went to Breitbart News, and they're whistleblowing to Breitbart News that they have evidence that there is a secret mole in Georgia that was planted by the Biden White House. Now, if Fani Willis wasn't being blasted for corruption, this report may easily have been written off. But Breitbart News didn't stop there. Yesterday, another report was released from insiders who claim that prosecutor Nate Wade was the decision maker behind who Fani Willis would hire and fire. Multiple people reportedly testified to Breitbart News that Nate Wade was calling the shots right after Willis got him into office in 2020. He was described as taking the lead role despite not being a part of the group. Now, evidence suggests that Willis and Wade were in a relationship before taking on the Donald Trump trial. They financially benefited from taking on this court case and even communicated with the White House during the time the prosecution was ongoing. So here's what we know for certain. District Attorney Fani Willis was gathering instructions from two separate meetings that Nate Wade had with Joe Biden's White House legal counsel. We also know that Fani Willis was getting secret insider instructions from members of the J6 committee on how to get Donald Trump. We now know that Joe Biden and Merrick Garland of the Department of Justice planted a spy in Fani Willis's team to make sure that she persecuted and prosecuted Donald Trump. Now, this lawyer, Jeff DeSantis, has also been given step-by-step details from the White House on how to proceed. He's also given details back to the White House on how things are going. So these guys are rigging the election to try to jail Joe Biden's top competitor, Donald Trump, because they know that Joe Biden can't beat him fair and square. Now, more details will be coming out, but this is what I have so far, and it's a huge revelation. So essentially, the White House is feeding information right into Fani Willis's trial while pretending to have an arm's length distance between them and the DOJ and the local prosecution down in Georgia. Joe Biden is a crook. We also know that Jeff DeSantis is behind selecting the grand jury to get Trump and made sure that it was full of Trump-hating Democrats so that they could get the grand jury conviction, and then they put Fani Willis in charge of running it. This whole thing is a giant scandal, and more details will be coming out. Let's see. Neck Vex Sam. Nikki is only in this for the Democrat money. Which defense contractors do you think she'll be working for when the charade is over? Well, she's already made millions of dollars from Boeing. It wouldn't surprise me if she gets picked up by someone else. But yeah, you're right. The Democrats are funding her because they know that she's good for war. Kaylee Kaminsky, thank you for always keeping it real for us. You are amazing. You are. Thank you so much. Pris Ray, thank you so much for the super chat. All right, now, what do you guys think of this story? Fani Willis is being instructed from the White House on what to do. Secret meetings with the J6 committee. Now we find out today that the White House, that President Biden planted a secret mole within the legal group so that he would know exactly what's going on. And they've been feeding information, how to get the grand jury, how to get Trump, what to do, how to connect the dots. They are literally rigging the election, in my opinion, because they know that Joe Biden cannot beat Donald Trump. All right, now I have some incredibly big stories to share with you. But first, 45 seconds from today's video sponsor. I've partnered with my friends at Replace Your Mortgage to show homeowners in my YouTube community how to pay off their mortgage in less than 7 years. This program does not require any additional money for your monthly budget. In fact, it gives you more freedom and flexibility and pays off your house in less than 7 years. Coaches at Replace Your Mortgage will show you exactly how to escape the traps of a traditional mortgage by using banking tools and concepts that were used over 100 years ago by farmers to pay off your house quickly. Now, I'm going to leave a link down below so that you can book a free discovery call today. This group showed my wife and I how to save $250,000 on our mortgage. I paid my house off in under 50 months. I want you guys to know this. If you have a mortgage, decent credit, and want to save wasted money on mortgage interest, then click the link that I will put down below. Again, I'm personally using this with my own money, and I recommend Replace Your Mortgage. Okay, now I have some really good news for those of you that like Donald Trump. The Teamster Group, a group of over 1.3 million truckers nationwide, have just publicly given Donald Trump the maximum legal donation of money and said they believe Donald Trump is the man to fix the United States of America. Now, this group previously supported Joe Biden, they supported Hillary Clinton, and they supported Barack Obama. So this is a big deal to publicly come out and shed all of that past and say, listen, as truckers, if we're going to get the United States back on track, we have got to support Donald Trump. These are their words, not mine, right? So it's not just the trucker strike boycott in New York City that's catching attention. The Teamster Group, with 1.3 million amazing truckers nationwide, they're dropping Biden and saying, we're going with Donald Trump. All right, now check this out. Former sportscaster Bob Costas, he was the head of sports over at NBC Sports Center. He hates Donald Trump with a passion. And he said that Donald Trump is a monster and that his Republican voters are part of a toxic cult. Okay, now this is Bob Costas. He said this during an interview. This is not Stephen Gardner. But I want to know, because many of you in my community, You guys like Donald Trump. Yeah, he's not a perfect guy. And, he rubs people wrong, but he was a very good president. People made a lot of money under Donald Trump and they saved a lot on their taxes. I want to know, do you consider yourself to be a toxic cult member that worships Donald Trump, the monster? Or do you just consider yourself an America loving patriot? If you're part of a cult that worships Donald Trump, I want to hear from you. Put cult. And if you just love your country and you want to see it do well, and you don't want every tax dollar you give the country to go to everyone but our own countrymen, then I want you to put patriot. I definitely want to hear from you. Let me know if you're a patriot or if you're a cult member. Samuel Temple says, thank you for offering your time and efforts for the search of truth. I've been watching you since stimulus updates. Man, that's a long time. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And Trucker Little Debbie says, Truckers for Trump 2024. Absolutely. 1.3 million truckers just said, FJB. See you later, Joe Biden. I think FJB stands for Forget Joe Biden. I don't know. This is a G-rated show, right? But patriots all around the country are standing up saying, no more stealing our tax money. No more illegally going after the person we want to be president. I'm so happy to see everybody standing up. Jody Samurai says, everything they say is exactly what they're guilty of. Yes. Oh my gosh. You are so right. They're like, oh, Donald Trump, he, even though there's the Presidential Records Act and he has the right to have those records at his house, he stole those. And then what happens? Joe Biden stole records as a senator, as a vice president, and they didn't even slap him on the hand. He's just going to get away with it. And I could go on and on. They say Trump is rigging the election. They're rigging the election. They say that Trump is the reason for the border crisis. They're the reason for the border crisis. And on and on and on. It's absolutely insane. Chris McD, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Oh my gosh, you guys are like patriot, 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 patriot. I love it. I absolutely love it. Okay, let me get back to this because this makes me sad. Donald Trump Jr. and his beautiful family had to be emergency evacuated from their home today. Someone anonymously mailed a death threat letter with white powder inside. Now, that would make anybody freak out, a death threat, but then you get the white powder and people start thinking about the anthrax scare that happened many, many years ago. Anyway, investigators dressed up in hazmat suits and breathing tanks had to go in and clear the home. This is disgusting to me. I mean, I don't wish this crap on any Democrat. I felt bad when Nancy Pelosi's husband got hit over the head with a hammer, and I think she's an awful human being. But I still feel bad. I don't want any bodily harm or damage to anybody. But these guys, they hate Donald Trump so much. They literally sent death threats to his grandchildren's home today. It's just disgusting to me. All right, now speaking of assassination attempts, Russia has just arrested a man who says he was hired by Ukraine to unalive Tucker Carlson while he was in Moscow to interview Vladimir Putin. The man said he was paid $4,000 to hunt down and target Tucker Carlson. He said payments came from the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, which means that Volodymyr Zelensky was behind this assassination attempt on Tucker Carlson's life. This makes me sick. Zelensky is portrayed as this hero, but he's already responsible for the death of American journalist Gonzalo Lira. If you don't believe me, you can Google it. Gonzalo Lira spoke the truth about the Ukraine-Russia war, so they jailed him, and then they allowed him to die. Zelensky allowed an American journalist to die. Joe Biden didn't do a thing, and Volodymyr Zelensky didn't do a thing. Now, I've never believed that Vladimir Putin was a good guy, but Zelensky, this dude's no saint himself, and his disregard for human life, the freedom of speech, and the freedom of the press is absolutely disgusting to me as an American journalist. I mean, maybe this is touching me more than it's touching anyone else, but This is just absolutely crazy to me. All right, now this coming Thursday, President Joe Biden and President Donald Trump will both be visiting the Texas border. We have a crisis at the border, right? Now, I have no doubt that both presidents are heading down to different locations for a photo shoot. I'm not blind to this. I'm not stupid. However, I am fully convinced that Donald Trump will actually do something about the border crisis in Texas. He will shut down the border while Biden pretends, oh, I'm the president of the United States. I don't have any authority to protect the country. Literally, it's your only job to protect the country. And he's like, I need Congress to tell me what to do. I'm a meat puppet. Tell me what to do. You guys, we got to get him out of here. It's crazy. Did you know that more illegal aliens have entered the country than the population of 36 American states, including Utah, where I live? However, Biden continues to say, I don't know how to stop this. I don't know how to protect the country. I don't know how to stop the invasion. Congress needs to tell me how to think with my brain. Then you have Donald Trump that says, I will be on one day, on day one, I will stop this. I will put policy into place that will slow the invasion and then bring it to an end. I want to hear from you guys in the comments, please. Who do you think will do a better job of defending the United States of America and the Texas border? I want you to write Biden. If you truly believe it's Biden, you're allowed to have your opinion. And if you think it's Trump, then I want you to write Donald Trump. I want to hear from you guys. All right. A final bombshell report. The New York Times has just released a story that exposed the CIA and the United States government. According to the New York Times, the US government has spy bases within Ukraine, and the CIA trained an elite Ukrainian commando force. Now, without going into too much detail, the United States has essentially turned Ukraine into a spy hub in order to use Ukraine to spy on Vladimir Putin. So we have a spy network there. We have virus labs, hidden virus labs within Ukraine. You guys can Google all of this. I'm not making any of this up. It's insane. All right, now it's been abundantly clear that the United States and NATO is using Ukraine as a pawn to try to weaken Russia and Vladimir Putin. But after 2 years of war, support is drying up. During an interview with CNN, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky responded to comments made by Republican Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio, who claimed that Ukraine will lose no matter how much American taxpayer money is given to Zelensky. Zelensky bashed on Senator Vance, claiming that his thinking will get millions killed. While this may be true, there's probably not going to be big chunks of money given to Ukraine. But then again, 500,000 people have died under Zelensky while giving him close to $120 billion. It's an absolute humanitarian crisis. It brings me no joy to report on that, but it is what it is. It's really, really sad. So, all right, this is my update for today. Let's keep rallying with the truckers in New York City. Some good stuff is happening. The deep state continues to go after Donald Trump and now his family and his supporters. You are not a toxic cult member if you love America and you want Trump to be your president. You're just not. So I'm not going to pretend that you are. What I am going to remind you is that you are amazing. I really, really believe that. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you have a great night. Give this video a like and hit that subscribe button and be one of the 1.5 million people that comes together in this community to seek the truth. Hey, I love you guys. Have a great rest of your day.